What's he doing? Oh my god, he's drinking my coffee. You can't drink my coffee. What's gonna happen if he has caffeine in him? Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys. I can't. I don't know. I don't even know where to put my coffee so he can't get it. You see what a kind of a maniac I'm dealing with here? Oh. Hello. Hi everyone. It's me, Jess. I know it's been a minute. I'm just trying to get the glare out of my glasses. This is the best I can do. Hi everyone. I am a bit late posting my videos for this month. I've had a bit of a tough couple of weeks. My dad's in the hospital. Not completely out of the woods, but doing better than before. So I thought I'd come on and try to get a little bit back on track, talk about my TBR for March, or my plans, my reading plans for March. I'm a little, haven't been reading much as a result of the situation that I'm in, just finding it super hard to concentrate on reading. So I didn't get as much reading done in February as I wanted to, but I'll still do a wrap up. Yeah, so I did get some reading done, and I will do a wrap up of the books that I read, but it's going to come a little bit later than, it'll come like probably the middle of the month, which isn't that unusual for me. I won't put you in your kennel if you don't knock my camera. It's still chaos around here as well. So I'm just going to talk about some books that I'm currently reading, because what often happens to me is that I don't finish necessarily reading books at the end of the month. So the monthly wrap-ups are a little tricky. So these are the books that I'm currently reading. Okay, the books that I'm still reading from last month are Real Life and Milkman. Milkman I've been reading for a while, and I'm just having a hard time finishing it. Not because it's not good, but it does require quite a bit of concentration. I know a lot of people ended up DNFing this book, but I really like it. It's just that you have to pay quite close attention to it. So Milkman takes place in Ireland. Yeah, so I just lost my patience with the dog. It happens now sometimes. And I put him in his kennel, so he might whine. And if he's whining, I just need him to calm down. He's so hyper. Yeah, you can hear him whining. Anyway, yeah, so I need him to calm down a little bit. So Milkman takes place during the Troubles in Ireland. Sorry, that's Noah whining in his kennel. I had to put him in because he's so hyper. I'm just going to have him calm down for a minute, and then I'll take him out. Apologies for the whining puppy in the background. So it takes place during the Troubles in Ireland, and it's super interesting, but it's quite dense. You can see the way it's written. It's really stream of consciousness with not a lot of paragraph breaks. So it's, yeah, it just takes a lot. And I only have about 100 pages left, so I still want to finish that one. I'm also in the middle of Real Life by Brandon Taylor. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's definitely showing a different perspective, a different life experience. It's about a Black queer man working in, he's doing graduate work in science, biology, something like that. I'm not good with science talk. And it's about him and his group of friends and just his experience as a Black man in an Ivy League environment, an Ivy League science environment. I don't know if it's Ivy League, but it's definitely a reputable college. And it's just about his experiences of being Black and being in that environment. I'll talk more about it when I do my wrap up. I'm hoping to finish this in the next couple days and talk about it in my wrap up. But I might not, because the situation is very fluid for me. So I'm going to talk about the books that I definitely want to read this month, and then I'm going to talk about a readathon that I'm taking part in. I took part in this readathon last March. It's called Tis the Damn Readathon, and it's based on Taylor Swift albums, or Taylor Swift albums are the basis of the prompts, and it's super cute. It doesn't seem to be quite I don't know, it doesn't seem to be as popular this year because Emma from Drinking by My Shelf took part in it last year. That's how I found out about it, and she's not able to do it this year, and I just haven't seen too much online, but that also could be me. So I did pick out some books for the prompts for that readathon, and I'll put the link for the Readathon announcement down below for one of the hosts' channels, and I'll also put my choices and a link to the Storygraph reading challenge, and I'll talk about some of my choices in the video today. I'm not clear on all my choices, so I might not talk about all the things that I've decided, and again, it's a bit ambitious under the circumstances. So in the meantime, I had talked about consent in the recent book haul that I did by Annabel, Lyon, and I really just am in the mood to read this. I thought actually in March, given the amount of strain that I'm under, I might just do some mood reading. Because otherwise I'm a bit nervous I'll just stop reading altogether, and I do want to keep reading. So I really felt drawn to read Consent. Consent is a story about two sisters who I think both were caregivers. Oh no, it's not both sisters were caregivers. It's about Saskia and Jenny, who are twins, but they're only similar in appearance. And they have a lot of differences between them. It's interesting because my sister and I have a lot of differences too. Oh, Sara inherits the duty of caring for her sister. Interesting. I think it's going to be really interesting. I don't want to get too deep into the information on the back because I want to kind of take it as it comes. But yes, that's my next up. Like, it'll be my currently reads at the moment. I'm sorry you can hear him whining. I'm going to go through these next 3 books and then I'll let him out of his kennel. He just needs a minute to... It's like he needs a timeout. He just needs to calm down. Oh, and that's because Real Life was the book that I drew for the BookTube spin, and Lester is the other book that I drew, that I pulled for the BookTube spin number. So I'm going to read Lester for sure. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a story about a woman who, I think she's having an affair, and I think one of the prompts for one of the Taylor Swift reading prompts is read a book with a gray character, so that she herself, the protagonist in this story, her name is Edie, could maybe potentially be a gray character or the man she's sleeping with, I suppose. Let me just get the prompts up. Okay, so this would satisfy a prompt for the Swift, Tis the Damn Readathon for 1989. So what they do is they list all of Taylor Swift's albums and they give a couple of reading prompts, and then there are a couple of bonus prompts which I'll talk about a little later in this video. So this would be for 1989, and they based the prompt on one of the songs that is on the album. So this would be Bad Blood, and the prompt is read a book with a morally gray character. So I'm going to read Lester. It's about Edie. She's an artist. She's discovering herself, maybe pushing the boundaries of, I don't know, what's socially acceptable. That's the impression I get, but it could be a little bit off. But again, that's what I know so much. That's what I know so far about it from what I've heard around BookTube. It was, poor guy. It was longlisted for the Women's Prize last year. So that's what put it on my radar. And then outside of the Taylor Swift readathon, I'm going to read Scarborough. I talked about this in my recent book haul. Scarborough is like a suburb of Toronto, or it's a borough of Toronto, and it has a very diverse population, and Catherine Hernandez writes about this neighborhood in this book, and I'm really interested to read this. I'm trying to read some more Canadian authors this month, and so that's why I'm reading Consent and Scarborough. And this is great because it satisfies the buzzword reading challenge prompt for this month, which is to read something with a place in the name and the title. So that I'm very much looking forward to. And then I'm also going to read, this is just a recent release by Lucy Foley, The Paris Apartment. She wrote The Guest House. I haven't read that one. The Guest List, not The Guest House. I haven't read that one, but I have it. And it's the book club pick for the Literally Dead book club, so I'm going to read it. It'll be my first Lucy Foley, so we'll see if I really enjoy that one or not. I really need like a page turner, something that's like a mystery that I like reading mysteries when especially when I'm stressed, but in general, and I think this will be great. It'll take me a little bit out of the situation as well that I'm in. Hopefully. I mean, that is one of the reasons why we read, right? It's not the only reason that we read, but it is one of them, right? Okay, so I have a bunch of other books that I want to read, and I've been trying to kind of fit them into the prompts. I've been trying to fit them into the prompts for the reading, the readathon. So I'm actually just going to go through the readathon prompts as they're presented and talk about the books that I've chosen so far. So the first challenge prompt is, well, the first album is Taylor Swift's self-titled album, and the first prompt is to read a memoir. And one book that's been on my TBR for a long while, since last summer, is Youth, Childhood, and Dependency by Tove Ditlevson. Hope I said her name correctly. This I think will be super interesting. It's an autobiographical trilogy, starting out with childhood and then talking about youth and then talking about dependency. And I think it's really interesting from what I've heard about it because it does talk about addiction, I think, and it talks about her journey through her life experience, but I know that it has to do with addiction as well. So I think it'll be good. It's gotten a lot of high praise, and I'm curious to read it. It's translated by Tiina, I'm not going to say these names right, Tiina, Ninnally, and Michael Favala Goldman, and it's translated from Danish. So I think I'm looking forward to this one. I want to get to all of these books, but given the circumstances, it's just really hard to say. I think I'm going to let him out because he is crying so much. So let me let him out, and then I'll finish talking about the books. And I better put all the books back on the shelf so he doesn't attack them, because he is known to be a bit of an attack king. I hope he's calmer. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Part of the reason that he's so crazy hyper right now is because he can't go outside until he gets all of his boosters. So that makes it tricky. Getting his energy out just in the apartment is not the easiest. Is it, buddy boy? Is it? He's a good boy, but he's just got tons of energy. Okay, back to the books. I mean, okay, so the next album is Fearless, and the two prompts are read a book that intimidates you or read a YA, and I just don't think I'm gonna get to anything like that, so I'm skipping that prompt. I did pick out a book, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it. And then the next prompt is to read something with red from the album Red. Read a book with red on the cover. The other prompts for red are read a book you've previously DNF'd. I have literally one book that I've DNF'd and I'm not going to go back and read it. And then, or read a book with a number in the title is surprisingly difficult for me to find. I don't know why, but it just is. So I'm not going to do that. But, and I did pick up, if you checked out my book haul, I did pick up The Sympathizer and I did consider reading that as the book with red on the cover. But I just think it's going to be like, I'm leaning towards more thrillers, mysteries, little like page turner kind of reads right now. So I guess that has to do with mood reading. So I picked up this copy of No Exit by Taylor Adams, which I have never read before, but I've heard is great as a thriller. It's about a girl who's going back to see her dying mother and she gets caught up in a blizzard and then bad stuff happens. So I think I'm gonna change my choice for the prompt to read something with red on the cover, and I'm gonna read No Exit. So that hopefully will let me escape for a bit. And then we've got the 1989 prompt for Bad Blood, which I'm reading Luster, which I talked about. And then for the album Reputation, one of the prompts is read a book with a romance set in another genre. And for this, I've chosen Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. I was gifted this for Christmas this year by my daughter, and this is contemporary fiction, so I think that counts as two genres, and it's about a romantic relationship. And I've heard that it's written in what, the second person. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with that one. Hopefully I get to it. I think at this point it's ambitious, the TBR now. Like if I get to all of these books, it'll be a shocker. It'll be a shock. But on the other hand, I am spending a lot of time sitting in a hospital room, and nothing better than to sit and read a book, right? So not to get all heavy or anything. It is a little heavy. Okay, I have a bunch of other books here, but I'm just not sure if I'm going to get to them or where they're going to fit in all the prompts. They're books that I really want to read. One of the prompts is to read a 5-star prediction. So I have like 3 options for that. And I guess I'll just decide when it gets a little bit closer to the time. So the 3 options that I have for reading a 5-star prediction are Still Life by Sara Winman. This is what happens if I let him out of the kennel. This is set in World War II, and it's about, I think, a couple who escapes to Italy, to Florence. Now all I need is for my camera to stop and like my battery run out. Okay, yeah, so Still Life is a potential 5-star prediction for me to read. It just sounds so good, and it was on a lot of people's top 10 for 2022 lists. And then another possibility is Olga Dies Dreaming. I talked about this one in my book haul. I think I talked about this one in another book haul, like I think at Christmas time. Olga Dies Dreaming is about immigrant brother and sister from Puerto Rico, and it takes place during the time of the hurricane in Puerto Rico, and I think it deals a lot with politics for people from Puerto Rico in America. Families kind of split up. I think the mother is still back in Puerto Rico. Anyway, I heard about this one from a couple of different places. Rosie talked about it on her channel. And then the third possibility is Migrations, which I also spoke about in my recent book haul. This is about a woman who is trying to save Arctic terns. And she follows them on their final migration to Antarctica. Sounds really good. I've heard it's really good. So it's like about the environment, I think. So those are the 3 possibilities for a 5-star prediction. I think there's another prompt that says like a book that a friend recommended to you. And of course, my camera stopped recording right there. I don't know, there's like a surprise yourself with a book. I feel like I could just randomly pick one of these with random number generator. So we'll see if I get to any of those. But those are definitely books that I want to read in the next little while. Evermore has a prompt for the song No Body, No Crime, which is to read a mystery or a thriller. I know that I already have No Exit. I'm not really sure if you can double up prompts. I don't think you can. But I also wanted to get to The Disappearing Act by Catherine Steadman. I had read Something in the Water for the Reindeer Readathon and loved it. And one of my 2022 reading goals was to read more authors that I discovered in 2021. So I picked up The Disappearing Act and I really want to read it. It's about a British actress who goes to America and then someone mysteriously disappears. So I think this will be fantastic. So that would satisfy another prompt. And I literally have like 3 more books, you guys, because I'm bananas. I'm not going to be able to read all of these books clearly, which makes me feel like I should just stop. But that's the fun of a reading challenge, right? Is to try to read as much as you can, and who knows? So there are a couple of bonus prompts for the Taylor Swift readathon. One of them is blank space. The prompt is read a book Taylor Swift has referenced. So I'm hoping to finally get to Jane Eyre, everybody, because she certainly referenced it many times. And I've never read Jane Eyre, and I really think it's important that I give it a go. I talked about this this is one of the books that I talked about in the 10 books that 10 classics that I hope to read in 2022. So I'm really hoping to get to it. Then I can decide whether Wuthering Heights or Jane Eyre is my favorite Bronte. So that's on the potential list for this month. The other bonus prompt is to read a book about cats or with cats on the cover. And of course the other, I'm getting to these Russians, and one of my picks for reading Russians is The Master and Margarita. And it has a cat on the cover. So there's a possibility I might get to that one for the Taylor Swift readathon as well. And I do really want to read The Break, which I talked about already in my book haul last time. I am keeping this a bit brief. I do have to get off to the hospital. That's like I don't know, how many did I talk about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 books. I'm not going to read 16 books. You have to stay tuned to see which ones I actually get to this month. Nola, stop. Such a maniac. You guys, look how big he is. He's so much bigger than he was before and so much more destructive. Yeah, that's kind of it, y'all. I hope everyone's doing well, and I am sorry that I haven't been as consistent as I would normally be. I'm going to try. I might do a reading vlog. I'm going to try not to be sad. I'm going to keep it positive, keep it as positive as I can, and yeah, I think if anyone wants to take part in the Taylor Swift reading challenge and read along, there's still plenty of time to pick books and participate. I know that the group read for the challenge is The Great Gatsby this year, and I've read The Great Gatsby before and I'm not a big fan, so I'm gonna take a pass on that one. Last year it was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and that was super fun, but yeah, I'm gonna take a pass on the group read, but I'm gonna still participate as best I can. So that's it from me. If you like this video, give her a thumbs up, share with other people, and yeah, if you believe in this kind of stuff, send some good vibes my way. I could use them. and yeah, if you like this video, did I say it already? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned. I'm not going anywhere for very long. And I love you guys. Thanks for spending this time with me. Bye. So yeah, in terms of Nola, don't knock the camera, okay? I don't mind if you... Nola, you gotta stop messing with my tripod. Still Alive by... Oh my god, Nola.